Hello?
Hey, sorry, Matt.
Oh no, that's quite all right. Not a worry at all. Like I said, thanks again. Really appreciate being able to
Yeah,
talk to you for a few minutes. First
of
things,
course.
yeah. So how's the family? How you guys all holding up?
Good. We're holding up. Everybody's healthy for now. We're taking it seriously. We're hunkered down and we haven't seen family, but we're hanging in.
Yeah.
How about you?
Oh, dude, yeah, pretty much the same. I've been able to work a part-time job for a little while. I've been asked to stay away from the TV station, so I have all of my camera equipment and my computers and all my editing stuff here. So I've been able to work from home for the past few weeks. So, but
Yep. Okay. Good.
it's certainly been a transition. So I appreciate the opportunity to talk and create a little bit of content to be able to put out there.
Yeah, of course. Well, as I've always said to you, Matt, we appreciate the coverage. You guys take good care of AMSA, so we appreciate it.
Thank you. But how's the work routine like right now? I know before you worked all these years as an athletic director and being able to talk to people in person and have these relationships. What about right now? Like how has it changed? Obviously you're working from home, but like take me through a typical day for you as an athletic director.
Well, it's very. It's busy. We're still busy. We all from the ADs that I've talked to. We're on Zoom calls and Google Meets with our administrators and colleagues at school, and just recently I had the opportunity to be with a few students on a Zoom on a Google class. So that's the biggest change. I think that's the biggest thing that's unfortunate is not seeing the kids every day. You get so accustomed to being with them every day, and really they're at the center of everything you do in your job, and then when you're not interacting with them, it's a little strange. So that's disappointing. But yeah, the days are. We're busy, but life has slowed down too, if that makes sense. We're not out at fields in the afternoon and deep into the night, so it's slowed down a bit, but we're still busy. We're gearing up for the fall and the winter and doing what we normally do as ADs. So I guess it's a weird answer. In some respects, it's very, very different. In some respects, it's business as usual.
Now, do you find it to be, say, I don't know, lack of a better way of saying it, less satisfying or not as fulfilling, not being able to be there in person, or do you still take the same type of and same level of satisfaction being able to help the kids in the capacity that you can?
Well, I think that's a great question. I think that feeling kind of changed when we were told we weren't going back for the year. So for the first couple of weeks of being home, yeah, you still had that satisfaction of doing your job and doing it for the kids. And, ADs were behind the scenes doing whatever we could to try and have some semblance of a truncated spring season. So I guess once the determination was made by the governor to not go back to school, like I said, we're still working on the fall and the winter, but yeah, I think there's a little bit less gratification there, just not interacting with the kids and really not being able to deliver for them in the spring what we normally do.
Can you talk to me a little bit about the efforts that you and other athletic directors in the area, what you guys were doing behind the scenes to help salvage any kind of season prior to that final decision being made?
Yeah, it was simply like I apologize. My son's yelling in the back seat there.
That's okay.
It's as simple as the dates kept changing. Right, we were out of school for 2 weeks, and then we were out of school until early April, and then it was the end of April, then it was May. So every time the date changed that we were going back to school, we kind of had to look at our schedules and build eliminate some games and build a truncated schedule. So, there were Google Meets and Zoom calls with our league ADs to build a league schedule based on the new dates. And there's a lot of talk amongst the leagues at a Central Mass level about what we would do with non-league games. So, again, just kind of remotely working with our colleagues on putting a schedule in place. But it was all for naught, unfortunately, because we're not going back to school.
Yeah. Was there ever consideration about not having any kind of playoffs and just having some type of round robin style regular season tournament?
I don't know if we ever got to that point. I think by the time we realized that there wasn't going to be an MIA playoff, I think for the most part we kind of knew that we probably weren't going to be going back to school and that there probably wasn't going to be able to be a spring season in a safe way. So I don't know that we ever got to the point where we were talking about a round robin, but we were close. We were close. There was definitely talk amongst ADs from different leagues about doing something, even if we couldn't do a league schedule or a Central Mass tournament. It probably got pretty close to that, but I don't think. I mean, for me, I wasn't ever in any official talks about anything like that.
Now, not really lost in all this, but the biggest thing that is lost is the experiences for the kids that are coming into their final season as a senior. Yeah, you have 3 years of a particular sport, and you build up to this moment, and now that's taken away. In addition to that, you have other experiences like proms and graduations that are also taken away. What are you and some of the other coaches at the school trying to do to help kind of not necessarily replace those experiences, but give them other experiences to look back on?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing that we can do to replace what those kids are missing out on. Now, don't get me wrong. There's bigger things at work here. There's a pandemic, so things just got bigger than high school sports, and it's unfortunate. But it doesn't change the fact that it's very gut wrenching and heartbreaking to know that those kids aren't having those experiences that seniors have every spring. So the coaches and I, we've been in talks about ways to honor the seniors, and I think what we'll do at the end of this month is we'll still do our senior days like we would have at a field with the crowd and the parents. We'll just do it remotely, and we'll honor the kids on a senior day as if we're at the ballpark on senior day. So that's kind of what we're looking to do at the end of the month. But certainly, like you said, there's nothing we can do to replace what those kids are missing out on. It's just heartbreaking.
They certainly won't be the same kind of memories, but they'll certainly be unique, huh?
Yeah, exactly. It's not even. It probably won't even be something that we could make memorable for them. It's the coaches and I felt strongly that we wanted to reach out to them in some capacity at some point, just to let them know that they weren't forgotten, and that even though the games weren't being played, that they were definitely on our minds throughout this entire unfortunate situation.
That's great. I'm sure anything that you guys try to do, though, is certainly appreciated on their end, especially where right now most of them are kind of cooped up at home, and their only real social outlets is either playing online video games or the online classes that you guys have all set up for them.
Yeah, I know there's a pretty rigorous curriculum being taught remotely. I mean, no surprise, right? AMSA is going to have rigorous curriculum regardless of the situation. So the kids are hard at work academically, and the teachers have worked really hard to try and deliver the curriculum to the best of their abilities given the situation. So, the kids are working awful hard academically in a very weird way, remote learning. So yeah, hopefully, there's the lack of an outlet for after school sports. That's tough. It's tough on the kids, I'm sure, to be working hard academically like they always do, and then not having that outlet in the afternoons. It's unfortunate.
Now, how about kids as far as scholarships are concerned, and being able to prove themselves over the course of 4 years? Now, kids that are sophomores and juniors have one less year on their body of work to be able to show all of these athletic directors and other schools kind of going forward. How do you think that a lost season impacts them?
I'm not sure. I think that time will tell. I think the consensus amongst adults who work with kids throughout this entire thing has been like, whatever we have to do to not punish the kids is what we're going to do. So, I think it's so out of everybody's control. I think there will be a way, and I don't know what it is, and I don't know what the talks are at the levels above high school, but I would imagine that the college coaches are going to have to figure out a way to take that into consideration. Because, again, it was something that was beyond anybody's control. Nobody foresaw this, and it's just something that we've all had to deal with. So yeah, the kids are going to lose a year. At least the spring athlete is going to lose a season to prove themselves. But hopefully there will be some sort of summer or fall league that they could prove themselves in and not miss the entire year. And like I said, I think the college coaches are going to have to recruit a little bit differently, knowing that these kids have missed a high school season.
Yeah, it's certainly hope that they can give them the consideration that they deserve, because it's been difficult on everybody, that's for sure.
Well, again, I think like every conversation we've been in at our level, whether it be academic or athletic, it was always anything that felt like it was negative toward the kids, we went away from. So I would imagine that the people at the higher levels, NCAA athletics, would be thinking of ways to attack it similarly and not let it affect the kid negatively.
That's well said. I'll get you out on this one. What do high school sports look like in the fall? Do they look differently? Are we talking about another scenario where maybe it's kind of following suit with professional and college, where if they're if you're getting back to these games, maybe there aren't fans, or if there are fans, maybe they're separated. What do you think?
It's a great question. I mean, it's yeah. I mean, the simple answer is yes. It's going to look different, but to the extent of that, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how we'll bus teams around anymore. You know, if social distancing is still a practice that we need to employ as a society, there's no way we can put, you know, other than a golf team, there's no team that could fit on a bus and be properly social distanced. So, you know, I hate to be pessimistic, but I don't have a good feeling about the fall. But if we are fortunate enough to have some semblance of a fall season, then yeah, I think it'll look very different. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's no fans. Maybe there's only certain sports that are able to be run and others can't happen. But yeah, the simple answer is it's going to look very different for sure for the foreseeable future. I think until there's a vaccine, it'll look very different.
That's unfortunate. Maybe that helps people like me, that maybe somebody like me is certainly allowed to, or hopefully allowed to come back and tape games and maybe provide it to people that wouldn't otherwise have a chance to see it.
Yeah, you could have an increased role, that's for sure. That could be a very important part of what we do going forward. That's interesting.
Yeah. Well, Pete, I like I said in the beginning, I really appreciate the time, man. I hope that things are going well and that, you know, everything kind of gets back to normal pretty soon, because as much as I love being able to talk to people and having these phone conversations, it pales in comparison to the enjoyment that I get in being able to get down to the fields or the courts or whatever it may be and tape the games and talk to kids and cut up highlights and share them with all you guys. So I hope that comes back quick, because that's something that I miss so much.
Yeah, me too. I mean, likewise. We all wish we could be on the sidelines on a nice spring day like today. So that's the general sentiment amongst all of us: the kids, the coaches, the ADs, the parents. I mean, we wish it wasn't this way, but we'll get back to it some way, somehow. We'll get back to it.